Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. First, I want to start by saying thank you guys so much. Just in a matter of 3 days, I have 12,000 subscribers and about 70K views on my first video. I was really excited to do YouTube, and you guys supporting me the way you have has just motivated me even more to knock out these videos for you guys and really share my life with you guys. As you know, today is the Bgc Experience video. However, I feel like I have to start all videos by saying hi, letting you guys say hi to the bump. He looks kind of big today, but yeah, so here goes my Bgc Experience. So I'm gonna just break it down into timelines so it makes it as organized as it can be. I found out about the show through a friend. Someone sent me the application and was like, "Oh, you're crazy. You need to do this. This is the perfect thing for you." And they sent me the application. I opened the application and it was long as hell. I mean, when I say long, I mean there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of stuff. So I probably did like the first 20 questions and I was like, I can't do this. So my sisters actually sat and finished it for me because I was not about to sit and do 70 questions. One thing about me, I didn't like taking tests. I'm not a test taker. So they did it for me. And long and behold, like a week later, they were calling me and they were like, we wanted to have an interview with you. And I'm like, huh? And they were like, well, we're coming here and we're doing auditions. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go to an audition because I knew what it would be. The auditions, there were like 300 girls in one room. I probably fought almost a good 10% of the room. So I wasn't about to go to no open audition, absolutely not. So they were like, well, no, we wanna give you a private interview. I was like, okay, now you're talking, because I was supposed to go to America's Next Top Model audition and the line was wraps all the way around the mall. And I was like, I'm not standing in line for this, absolutely not. Not that I'm too good for it, but I get tired. I don't like standing around. That's not me. So I was really relieved when they were like, okay, we're gonna do a private interview for you. So they came and they talked to me and they instantly fell in love with me. My personality is really big. It's a lot bigger than I got to show on the show, but we'll get to that. And a couple weeks later, they were calling me again like, well, we want you to pack your bags in such and such amount of time and we want you to move. And initially I was like, absolutely not. You know, I think I'm getting too ahead of myself. I'm gonna get sent home like the first week. I had really bad anger issues. My temper was horrible. So I felt like there was no point in me doing it. But then I realized, you know, you're still here fighting. You know, I had just got jumped probably like a month before I left. It was pretty funny too. Yeah, I was still here doing the same thing I could go on TV and get paid to do. So like, you know what, you might as well. So I went to LA. Before the initial move-in, we went and we did more interviews. That's where you see like our green screens with the blonde hair that I had. That was post-show interviews, but they just edited it in there. Then I finally went out there for moving day, and it was really hard for me to leave my friends and my family. I was really sad to be leaving my mom and to be leaving my friends. I cried a lot, but I went. So I was out there for like a week before I actually moved into the house. And then moving day came, and the whole time I'm out there, they're telling me like, oh, you guys are staying in a loft. It's gonna be so awesome. Yeah, this season is not like any other season. Y'all are getting a beautiful, it's gonna be like New York style. So we pull up to the house and, you know, they take me back up on a freight elevator and I'm sitting on the roof. And I'm like, okay, the roof is nice, but I'm pretty sure when I pulled up in this back that this was warehouses. And I was complaining about that the entire time pulling up, and they were like, we need you to stop talking about it and get serious now. So I handed over my phone, which was really depressing, and I went on in. I was up there probably for about 30 minutes before the other girls came up, and I was nervous. I was nervous because I am a people person. I'm a very nice person, don't get me wrong, but girls just don't like me that much. I don't know what it is I do to people. Maybe I do. No, I don't. I don't do anything to people. I'm really nice and really friendly. I typically don't disrespect anybody until I'm disrespected. So I was just nervous because me and my sisters, when we're locked in the house for a certain amount of time, we're in there fighting. And when I say fighting, I mean like really brawling, not just, arguing and stuff. We get in there and we get to fight when you lock us in there for too long. And that's with phones, with TV, with computer. Now we don't have any phones. The computer, only does emails. Got a house phone, but anytime something happened, they could cut it off. Or anytime you were talking about something they didn't want you to talk about, they would cut it off. So it pretty much was like jail for princesses. And that's what the producers would call it. They were like, it's the closest thing to jail y'all are probably ever gonna be. So the girls come up and they're really, they were very nice and sweet. They go to show me around the loft, and that's when I just was ready to go home. I'm like, this is not a loft. This is a warehouse, decorated decently. I was pissed. I'm not gonna lie, I was so mad about the house. So mad. I didn't even have a pool. I love to swim. I was really upset about the house. I almost feel like, I was ripped off a little bit, but whatever. Nothing I could do about it at the time. And then they pulled me to the room and they were like, we need you to stop complaining about the loft and just interact. So I went and sat in my room because I was mad. I was like, look at this. Like, what? Their whole thing was, it's way closer to the clubs. Y'all don't even let us go to the clubs for real. And second of all, we leave the club at 1 o'clock. I don't get to the clubs till 1 o'clock. Absolutely not. It was just a disaster from the beginning. So, as the night went on, we went straight to the club. There was really no time to get to know the girls. The only thing that was really going around was Susan and Sayor's conversation. That was probably the first bit of drama. And that was my first initial reaction to Sayor. I didn't understand why she was spreading people's business so early on. And they were running around together all day, all night. They were like butt buddies by the time I saw them. But anyway, the next day we kind of just all finally got a chance to sit down and talk. And everybody was kind of just going through their fighting stories and experiences and what they've done and what they do to people. Everybody was kind of trying to mark their territory. I didn't have much to say. I just said, I'm not an arguer, which is true. I don't get loud, which is true. If you get this close, I can hit you. And that's all I said. And I listened. I continued to listen to their fighting stories, what they did in their hometown. I really didn't have much to say. It was just, I don't yell. I'm very monotone, as y'all saw, because y'all consider that boring. Whatever. I fight. Get in arm's reach, and I can hit you. That was it. That's all I said. Then the conversation became Susan and her business. I really didn't like it because, people have always talked about my business and what they think or thought I should be doing for myself. And that's none of your concern. I don't think that it was anybody's concern that that girl was married. And it was more so a problem that, okay, we know who we can't tell anything in the house to, because I'm sure that Susan is not the only person with skeletons in her closet. We now know that she can't be trusted, Sayor, to keep secrets. Because let's be real, we all have done things that we're doing something that we weren't proud of. Her being married wasn't the worst thing in the world. But of course, they made it a big ordeal. They just really didn't like Susan because she stayed to herself. I gravitated towards her because I'm a stay to myself type of person. I'm out of my business. It's pretty much it for me. As days went by, you know, before the drama kind of got started, we got more like into our personal lives other than fighting and stuff, more so like our dating lifestyles and stuff. And I know everybody wants to know, that's kind of where the drama with me and Kiki started. She made a comment about, once they saw that I was gravitating towards Susan, they really didn't like that very much. And she made a comment about my lifestyle choices. So that's how the argument with the gray shirt on started. I don't like losing my voice over bitches I'll drag. That's where that came from. I confronted her about what was said and I let her know, don't say anything about me. You shouldn't be worried about any of my lifestyle choices. I don't care about your lifestyle choices. You know, you have obvious lifestyle choices that some people might consider a bad way to live. You know, some people consider being overweight is a bad way to live, or being plus size is a bad way to live. I didn't comment on your lifestyle choices. Don't comment on mine. But she did, and someone came and told me, I think it was the Shayla. It might have been the Shayla. So it went up from there. And as time progressed, Susan really became the target and I really didn't like it. I feel like everybody was really just trying to assert their dominance, Key including, because at first we weren't really meshing well because of her thing with Susan, but eventually I had Susan sit down with Key and talk to her and really explain who she is and where she comes from, and Key started to like her because she realized, you know, she's not bougie. She's not just some married man whore like they were calling her. She is just like us, you know, she's seen a lot, she comes from a lot, and she made her life decisions based on the way she wanted to make it, and I really didn't think that should affect who she was as a person. So now I'm gonna pull up some of you guys' questions because y'all are better at me than remembering. My memory is horrible. I don't remember anything. So the first altercation between me and Kiki, I already told you how it started. I did swing on Kiki that day when I had the gray on. However, outside of camera views, there was security lined up on both sides of the wall. I will give the producers, I'll give them, they're actually kind of sweet. They really didn't want me to fight, especially not the first week. They were really trying to be patient with me, so they did break up and stop a lot of my fights because they wanted me to be in the house. They wanted me to change my ways because my issues were a lot deeper than some of the girls in the house. You know, some girls, you could come and you could put on a show for TV that you're this and you're that and you're so tough and you are that, but there was really deep underlying issues that made me so aggressive and made me so angry sometimes. So they worked really hard with me to try to keep me contained. And plus, when I got mad, that was it. There would be no peace. And it pretty much escalated from there. The divide came after Susan drops Kiki. It was really bad. So fast forward to the beauty room, and we're in there, and BGC was really such a miserable experience. We were talking about how we felt like we were hamsters locked in a cage, and that's really what it feels like a science experiment. Like, we're gonna give this one liquor and we're gonna take this from her. She won't have this, but she'll get this, and we'll see how they react. Francesca took that and completely jumped out her skin with it. She assumed that we were talking about her and then being gerbils. I mean, we were, but we were referring to all of us were gerbils. We were all like a big ass science experiment. And she jumped out her skin, and from there, that was it. There was war like never before. I was still mad at Kiki from, that first argument. Don't comment on my personal life. That was just it. So I was pretty much done with her after that. And then I was really done with her after Susan drops her, because when everybody was giving their fighting stories, she had a lot to tell. She was the big bad wolf. If you let her tell it, that was nowhere to be found. So that was just like, I don't want nothing to do with you. Then came the day all the fighting started. Fran was literally walking around the house, storming past us, model walking past us. Mind you, I was really nice to this girl because she reminded me of my aunt, just not the bitchy part that she had. I was really nice to her, which really made me the most irritated by her, because I was nice to you, but because you feel like you have to pick sides, you're gonna act like you're gonna be nasty to me. She thought because she was the sweet one, she wouldn't get touched. She always thought that. You're crazy. That doesn't mean you can be disrespectful or you can be nasty to people. So she stormed around the house and she did her twist and her turn and her mugging, and we ignored it because it's like, we don't even take you serious. Look at you. You don't even take you serious. You just were crying like the second day because it was already too much for you to be in that house. Oops. Too much drama, and there barely was any drama yet. So yeah, DeShayla, we already had it in our mind who was gonna fight who, because that's who felt like they were being chastised the most. DeShayla had already said she was gonna fight Fran. She was done with Fran and her nastiness. So that's where their fight came from, in the closet. And when I saw the spit, the TV did no justice to how much spit landed on her face. It was disgusting. And I know y'all like to say that Fran whoops DeShayla, but for somebody, that was the dumbest fight probably the entire show. Neither one of them could fight. It was like a slapping match. The only thing was Fran laid on top of DeShayla. It was a dumb fight. I sat and watched. I was front row for pretty much every fight, so I know how every fight went. Yeah, she comes out the beauty room and she points at me and Susan's face and she's like, are y'all ready? First of all, I told y'all, arm's reach. I told them, included in arm's reach, don't put your finger in my face, don't get in my face. I don't do all that, I'm gonna yell this close to your face, I'm gonna put my finger in your face. No, once you are close enough for me to touch you and I don't like you, I'm going to touch you. That's it. She really came and put her finger in my face. Like, y'all ready? Y'all better get ready. What? So I sure did smack her hand. And then she proceeded to come back, so I gave her a mush in her face. That's when I got kicked in the stomach. And that's when, all of a sudden, out the corner of my eye, I see something coming towards me. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I know that it was about to happen. I didn't have that much time to think, so I just turned around and started swinging. That was it. We fought. That fight went all the way to the kitchen until the producers finally broke it up. That's how the TV got broken, because after that fight, I was so mad because I didn't know if I got jumped or not. We don't get to rewatch what happens. We just got to deal with what happens. And the girl's like, they jumped you, they tag teamed you. I'm like, no, I really don't believe that. My clip-ins got pulled out, my hair was hurting, my clip-ins were teased into my hair, so I had bald spots all everywhere. I was pissed, so I threw a thing of plastic cups at the TV. Who would have thought plastic cups were breaking? I actually was throwing it at the security because he was right there, and I was tired of them not getting out of my way because I was trying to go down the steps. There is literally, at one point, I was holding on to the step while the security had my legs in the air. So somewhere between me and security going back and forth, that's how I got that big bruise on the back of my arm. I wanted to fight again because I'm like, did I just get jumped? I know for sure that I was going at it with one girl and then there was another girl. I thought I got jumped, and I'm like, oh, no. I can't go back home and let people see that I got jumped on national TV. because then everybody gonna think it's free game. Let's just jump this hoe. So there was no peace after that. Once after that fight, they took everybody out the house, made us go to lunch. As soon as I got back from lunch, I put on my fighting clothes and I filled my hands up with rings because I was gonna fight the both of them at the same time. Like, okay, y'all want a tag team? Let me show y'all what a real tag team is. That's how everybody in the house's rings ended up getting confiscated. They took all the jewelry and then they took me up on the roof and they're like, you know, we have a really special surprise for you coming up and we need you to calm down. You are just really irate and we can't have you here like this. We're gonna have to send you home if you don't calm down. You're picking up weapons. Rings are not weapons, but okay, we need you to calm down. When they took all my rings off my hand, they ended up seeing my hand. I had a tooth mark. My knuckle was busted because there was a tooth mark in it and it was swollen. So I ended up going to the doctor and the doctor was just like, you know, we gotta put you on antibiotics because we don't want it to get infected because it is a tooth mark. And you can't lift anything over 20 pounds because the hand is sprung pretty badly. So you're gonna have to chill out. So I went back to the house after the doctor and of course I talked to my trash because I was mad and I really wanted to fight. And it continued, they would get drunk. Like, they didn't even show y'all half of what happened. These girls would get drunk and come in the house and torture us. I mean, when I would walk past, they would make popping noises because they said my butt was fake. My butt was very real at the time. You can see now because I've lost weight. I've lost a lot of my butt. But they would just torment us because they knew we were put on restriction. We were put in timeout. Like, no more fighting or y'all are gonna have to go. So it pretty much came back up again. It all stirred back up the night that Susan picked up the comb. They came in the house drunk from the club. We didn't go. And they were going again. Pop, or stuff about her husband. Just directing everything towards me and Susan because at the time, DeShayla and Key had made peace with them. But me and Susan were like, no, y'all are welcome to do what y'all want because y'all are grown. And I won't feel no way about it, but I'm not making peace with nobody. So it pretty much was just directed towards me and Susan. So I woke up, I put my hair in a ponytail, got out the bed, and I was sitting there behind Susan, and I was just like, come out the room. Kiki went from, you know, tormenting and making noises to, but I don't understand why we just can't have a grown folks conversation. Y'all don't want to do that. Y'all want to torment people when you get drunk, and then you want to wake up the next morning and not understand why we want to fight the next morning because your liquor's gone out your system. Are you crazy? They were crazy. It's crazy to me. If I start something, I'm going to carry it on for as long as I think she might want to carry it on. But Susan did end up picking up the comb. And I know people thought it was a joke, but she was really going to stab her. They showed her just standing there with the comb. Susan actually walked into that room with that comb in stabbing position. And Fran went from standing on the bed to running her butt off that bed. That wasn't a joke. It was a very serious moment. I'm sure she wouldn't have got sent home just off standing in a room with a comb. Who will get sent home for that? But she charged in that room with that comb, and I was looking like, oh, I know she's Mexican. She's really gonna stab this girl. Y'all tripping. Then after that, Susan left. And then there was another day, Key came to me and she's like, you know, I really want us to try to get along for a while. And I'm like, no, once again, no, it's not gonna happen. I don't wanna talk to her. I don't wanna say nothing to her. Another argument started, I forget what it was about, but the producers ended up pulling me to the side, like, you know, the house is not gonna work like this. They finally told me what surprise I had. They were like, you know, your DJ instructor's about to come. We really want you to do something better for yourself. You know, this is what you are at home. This is what you're known for at home. Why do you want to be that here? This is your opportunity to do something better with your life, and you're going to miss it because you're mad about a fight that's almost 3 days old now. So I was like, okay. We got a little teary because they got very emotional with me. They really did try with me. I will say that. The producers tried really hard to change who I was. They wanted a lot better for me than I wanted for myself at the time. But I did. I took their advice and I pulled Kiki to the side. We went and sat in the smoking room. And I told her, you know, we can coexist, but I don't appreciate what you did. I don't get a rewind of those cameras. I don't get to see what happened on those cameras. All I know is that you ran up on me. And for that, you're gonna have to fight me again. There's gonna be a day where I come to you and I'm gonna tell you, just get up. And it's gonna be closer to the end. And we probably will make some peace and have some fun between them. But I'm not gonna forget what happened because I don't know what happened. For all I know, you could have beat me up on that camera, so I owe you one. And that's what I told her. And she was like, okay, but you're probably gonna start to like me by then. I'm like, probably not, but okay. As long as you understand that there's gonna come a day where I'm gonna want my payback. I'm gonna give you a fair one. Then, okay. So from there, we all pretty much, we made peace. Everybody was okay. Then, somewhere between this, Sayora was still here, yeah. I had to sit Key down. I'll just go to this place. Then Bree came and my initial thoughts on Bree was that she was trying too hard. I really thought that she was trying too hard to prove her dominance, and I think that's why her and Key butt heads more, because they both push for dominance, and I'm the type of person, I don't have to push for dominance. I naturally dominate a room when I walk in it, and people don't even notice it half the time, but the producers would say it all the time. The producers would say, you're probably the most quiet, the most monotone person in the house, and you literally have control of all the girls. Why don't you, you know, spice things up a little bit, get them going? I wasn't gonna do that, but yeah, I thought she tried too hard. She came in, we went up on the thing with her. She did her whole fighting stories too. I sat on the other side majority of the time while Key and DeShayla explained to her what has been going on and who they think she should like and shouldn't like. And she looked at me, Bree looked at me for confirmation. She basically was just like, well, what do you think? I'm like, I don't think nothing. I think you should go make your own opinion. Everything they said happened. We fought, we've done this, but I think you should go form your own opinion of what you think on them. I don't like them. Simple, but you're welcome to go. Don't look at me to, you know, tell you who not to like or try to get you to be my friend, because I don't care. And I think that's really where her thing came with me, because I was like really nonchalant. My nonchalance sometimes comes off as rude, but I'm not gonna sit and tell you what you should think about a girl. Go form your own opinion, and whoever you choose to hang with is whoever you choose to hang with. I could care less. But continue on, and of course, I don't remember the timeline if she fought Fran for, no, she got friends with them first, and she called herself being like their Captain Save-A-Ho and blah blah blah, which I didn't give a damn about, because not one of three of y'all are intimidating to me, or four of y'all are intimidating to me or scare me. So the only problem I really had with her was, I don't know if this came first, but I feel like the jacuzzi came first. So let me go to the jacuzzi part. This is that where you see that boy, me fighting with that boy in the house. Say bought two boys over, one for her, one for Bree. We're all in the jacuzzi, even prior to them being there. They come and they get in the jacuzzi, and the light-skinned boy is supposed to be there for Bree. He keeps touching me. I'm in the jacuzzi, I'm sitting on the side, he keeps putting his hand on my thigh. I pick his hands up and I move it and I say, don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. Like, you're not here for me. You're not my type. Don't touch me. I don't know what you think this is. This is everybody gets sex on national TV, but not over here. You're where you need to be. He didn't listen. He continued to touch me, and he continued to touch me, and I continued to move him. And then I heard Bree make a comment. I heard my name in a comment coming out of Bree's mouth, and I'm like, what did you say? And she was like, oh, I didn't say nothing. All I was saying was, you know, he's supposed to be here for me, but he's too busy worried about Seven. I'm like, okay, be careful, you know, what you say, because I thought that you were saying something else, and that something else could have turned this into a way bigger thing. I don't want him. I actually want him to stop touching me. And that kind of stirred our friction a little more. But then her and Key ended up getting into it because Key really just didn't like her at that point. They were really butting heads for dominance. And Key was like, just basically telling like, you're jealous, blah, blah, blah. So they had their little thing. But he goes from touching me. I guess he gets mad once, you know, I ended up just getting out to the jacuzzi and go putting on clothes because I don't know you. Stop touching me. He gets mad and he starts talking about how, you know, oh, this is East Coast versus West Coast. Where are you from? Ask me where I'm from. Look, I'm from the East Coast. So like, I have some West Coast bees come trash y'all right now. I'm like, huh? Who are you talking to? So all hell broke loose from there. I think I spit. I don't know. It was pretty bad though. The producer ended up moving him out the house. I wanted him to bring his friends. Let's have fun. I'm bored. So that's kind of where the tension got worse. That little altercation, because Key and Bree continued for a little while that night, actually, just about, they were arguing more so about me and Key feeling like, you know, you were being jealous. But I really think Key just didn't like her and she wanted a reason. But not my business. So then that bedroom scene happened and I was asleep. I don't know what Key and DeShayla was up doing to them, but I was knocked out. I didn't play about my sleep. I used to be out of there. Once it was time for me to go to bed and take my mic off, that was it. DeShayla and Key still had their mics on, and we're not allowed to talk once you don't have our mics on. So yeah, they were up, I guess, tormenting them, and they were going back and forth. I was hearing little stuff going between the walls when we're right through each other's walls, like just go in and say something, and then Key does the stomping thing, and Bree comes in the room and she addresses Key, but then she says, y'all. So I get up, I'm like, it's a one person thing. I was in here asleep. This is the second time I have to tell you, don't say my name. Like, don't address me when you're addressing the rest of them. And I don't care when nobody says, oh, she's a follower. I can't help what they made it seem like to y'all. I don't follow nobody. I've never been a follower in my life. People will say probably 100 things about me. She's this, she's that, she's a hoe, she's a witch, you're not gonna hear that. You're never gonna hear that. I'm not a loud person. I'm a monotone person. I don't argue, I don't yell. I don't have to be loud for people to see my dominance. It's in my demeanor when I walk in the room. It's in the way that I speak. It's already there for me. So I don't have to be like Key and Bree where I have to be loud or do a lot to get my dominance, because it just comes natural for me. And that's why those two butted heads more than anybody, because they worked harder for their dominance. I didn't have to work as hard. I was respected just off of who I am. There was even times like the whole Sayor and Key beef really stopped and just went away because I had to talk with her. I'm like, you know, at this point, it just looks like you're picking on her. Just leave it alone. You know she can't fight. What are you gonna do? Keep beating the girl up? Like, it's not gonna look right. So just leave it alone. That's why she ended up leaving it alone. But I can't tell, you know, I don't get to sit down with the producers and make them show you what I want them to show you. And I really didn't care to, because I know who I am and I know the conversations that we had. Her and Sayor probably would still have been fighting if I didn't pull her to the side and have that conversation. Like, I know you don't like her, and I know she's done things to not be liked, but, you know, at this point, it's too much. So, yeah, then I went on the roof, and I was like, you know, I know what you think, because she said something like, you know, I'm being respectful. I'm just saying, no, what you did was not respectful at all. I'm not the one. Don't play with me. When you address us, do not address, you address me as me, them as them. I don't care who I hang with or who I'm around. Don't disrespect me like that. I didn't just walk off the roof. I wanted to fight. The producers made me, security came and got me and made me leave the roof. They were like, okay, get off the roof. Like I said, the producers were working really hard to try to keep me in the house. So the guy who runs it, I don't know what his name is, but he didn't want me in there. He wanted me out after the first fight. So they were kind of like at war between them. He said, when they had the first conversation with me, he was like, you know, you're high risk and they love you for that, but I don't care. I'll kick you out of here. And I'm looking at him like, whatever you do. I think I hit him at the reunion, but he did not like me. So the producers were really trying to keep me in that house. So they had security pull me off of the roof. And I just felt like, you know, there's nothing I can do. I have to walk away. I can't punch her. That house really makes you feel helpless. Like, I felt like sometimes I was letting people disrespect me, and there was nothing I could do about it, or I would go home. And then sometimes I felt like, F it, I'll go home. But, you know, I was one of those people, my biggest problem was me. I got in my own way a lot of the times. And for once, I actually wanted to do something different and get out of my own way. So I had to learn how to walk away. No, I was not scared of nobody. Scared? What do I look like being scared of somebody? I don't think there's ever been a person who scared me. I have went to a fight and seen 20 to 30 people hop out of the car. No, I didn't walk away. No, I didn't get nervous. I stood out there and I got ready to fight. Why would one girl scare me? What? What, because she's a stripper and she's used to fight in a strip club? Absolutely not. Nobody scares me. I'm not even scared of boys. Why would I be scared of her? So from there, the divide got worse, and then somehow it got better. Like I said, I don't remember a lot of things, but somehow it got better. And then the pissing on the bus thing happened. And I found the pissing on the bus thing, you know, as much as Fran irritated me, I was more on her side, because when Bree peed in the cup on the bus, I got up and moved. I said, ew. And I got up and moved and left from where she was. And I did say, ew, that's nasty, because it was spilling on the floor. And Fran repeated, ew, but I didn't feel like Fran did as much as I did. You know, I moved, I said ew, and I continued to say ew, and I continued to sit with my face like this. So that's what made me mad about that, because if you would have wanted to fight anybody for what you did, for disliking what you did, I would have thought it would have been me. But no, she picked Fran, so that was really interesting to me. That fight was really dumb to me. I don't know what y'all consider a fight. Fran's face was bleeding because she bit her nails off, which means she hit her open hand. It was funny. I was cracking up. I was thinking, you know, in my head, this girl better not say nothing else to me, because if that's what she did with Fran, she don't want no chance with me. She better leave me alone. Yeah, I'm really blurry about the timelines, but whatever. Fast forward some more. This is me and Key's probably our second headbutt. We did headbutt a lot, which is why I don't know why they didn't show it. This is the part where Kiki and all them are in the kitchen, and they're trying to turn Key, they're trying to get the Shayla and Key on their side to go against Bree. And I just felt like I'm looking like this, And then Key's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't like, what are you doing? We were just going at it with these girls last week, and now you're gonna gang up on another girl with them just for the sake of not liking that girl. I don't want no parts. I don't like them. I don't like her. I don't like none of them. So I don't want nothing to do with none of them. I'm not gonna help them gang up because they feel like they can't beat her. No, I don't care. I told Kiki to go fight Bree because I was tired of hearing her complain about it. Shut up and go do it. Like, what are we? You feel like your friend was done some injustice, do something about it. Don't keep yelling in my ear. I didn't like that though. I was just really upset with Key because I'm like, this was us a couple weeks ago. I don't like them, and I don't like Kiki. I didn't like Fran. I didn't like Bree. I didn't like any of them. So no, I'm not gonna gang up. I'm not that type of person. You're not gonna see me click up with somebody just because we got somebody in common we don't like. I don't care for none of y'all. At this point, I'm just really like, I don't really remember a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna go to the questions. Oh, okay. So at this point, I really don't remember how the shift went again. Like how Kiki and Key fall, like it was just really all over the place. This season was all over the place, and because they left out so many details, it looked it looks really confusing. But let's just skip to my last fight. So I've been doing the DJ thing, and at this point we're in Vegas and we're doing our thing, and afterwards Key gets her news, and it was really sad actually because I was really excited, but the excitement just kind of went down. The initial thing started in Vegas over who was going to get what rooms, and we wanted the master bedroom, especially being as though, you know, the only reason y'all are here is because we're performing. We're going to take this room, y'all can have the other room. So that's what kind of started the tension. But then the uncle thing subsided the tension, and Kiki went and started the tension back up. So Say and Key were on the balcony talking, and Bree's name came up, and there was stuff said, and Kiki came to the back and was like, yo, Key's out there talking shit about you. And even Sayora said it herself, no, she wasn't. It was just a general conversation, but Kiki loved stirring the pot, and that was my biggest problem with her. She likes to throw shit and hide her hands, and I don't like people like that. If you're gonna be a mean girl and you're gonna start stuff, stand on it, stand on everything that you do. But yeah, so she went back to the room and told that. And Sayora was like, she wasn't talking trash, it wasn't like that. And she came in the room and told Bree that actually while I was in there getting changed, and for some reason Bree was in my room. I think maybe we were talking, or her and DeShayla were talking. Bree was crying, like they were really emotional about something. So Kiki comes running back, and I'm getting out the shower, and I'm like, get out of my room with that. You back here starting stuff. If y'all gonna talk about that, don't talk about it in my room. So they ended up leaving my room, and I don't know where the conversation continued, but it all ended up boiling like that. Kiki started the fight in Vegas because she went back and said that, and Sayora was like, you know, she really wasn't talking shit. She just was talking about, you know, y'all's timeline of how there was an argument with the producers. Bree did get into it with the producers, and it was everybody's favorite producer. So it did. Her and Key, it had something to do with the producer, it had something to do with all aspects. But Kiki really like made it a bigger thing, because then Key came in and she was like, what are y'all, basically like, what are y'all talking about? She's like, you talking shit about me, and then da da da. And that's where the swinging started. And I know y'all think that, you know, Key got beat up so bad, but it really wasn't the way it looked. And Key didn't swing once. Not one time. So we saw what happened if she would have swung, so whatever. But at that point I just was done with Kiki, because it's like, You stirred this whole thing up. You just got on the stage and you're twerking up there, and then you get in the bus and you're crying for what just happened to her. And then you go to Bree and you say she's talking shit about you over a conversation that you weren't even part of. So you're eavesdropping, and you took it and you made the situation worse when we already got the situation completely calmed down. So there you go. You irritated me again. And quite frankly, after the DJ thing, I was ready to go home. There was no other reason for me to be there. I was miserable there. I was not happy. I was like, well, here's my shot to get her back for what she did in that beauty room. And once again, even after I told you to stop starting, because we've had these conversations like, you start stuff, she did it again. So yeah, I tried to fight her in Vegas, and I told them, once we get home, that's it. I'm going home, and that's gonna be all there is to it. She walked in the house, and everybody thinks the what's funny comes from her laughing in Vegas. When she walked in the house and she saw me, she laughed. She was like, I'm like, oh, it's funny? It's always funny now. It wasn't funny once that fight started. And we started fighting. And people have their input on what they think the fight should have been. First of all, don't tell me how to fight nobody. She's a big girl. And when she fights me, or when she fights, she throws her weight. She uses her weight. You saw it at the reunion. I threw a punch, and she leaned forward in claws. I'm not gonna let her fall on top of me, no, because if she does, that's it. I'm not getting back up. So you're damn right. I'm gonna grab her by her hair, and I'm gonna throw her on the floor, and then I'm gonna beat her up because, no, our sizes were not sizes to go toe to toe. You know how in boxing they make sure the person you going toe to toe with is your size? She's heavyweight and I was a featherweight, and I'm gonna win that fight. However, I gotta win that fight. So that's just that. I don't care how nobody feels. But I can say that that is the first time that I fought because I wanted to. I always felt like I had to fight, even before the show, or sometimes even the little altercations I've been in after. I always felt like I had to do something, like I gotta do this, I gotta fight for my respect, so I have to fight for this. It was the first fight I ever been in, and I felt like, I just genuinely wanted to fight her because I'm tired of her, I don't like her. I didn't feel like, I wasn't angry after that fight. I've never been able to calm myself down after a fight, and I wasn't angry. I was content. I was like, okay, I'm going home now, right? Peace. Get me out of here. So that's pretty much my take on everything that happened. As far as the reunion was pretty self-explanatory. As soon as I walked out, I was all kind of bees and hoes and this and that. I'm tired. I was at the point of the reunion. There had been so much trash talking on Periscope that I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to make friends. I don't know. There was no making up. There was no kumbaya because y'all said on Periscope and y'all said on Live and y'all said on Instagram and y'all trashed me. One, because y'all were mad that I was getting majority of the following. Two, because, I don't know, y'all just was mad. But I had no intentions of coming to the reunion and making up with anybody. I wanted to fight. I wasn't coming to fight Kiki. I actually was coming to fight Bree because I saw that Bree felt like I was scared of her. Never in my life. Since then, they've both reached out since hearing that I'm pregnant, and I appreciate the gesture, but there was too much said. At this point, it's not even the stuff that y'all did on the show. It's all the periscopes and everything else. We'll never be friends. I have no intentions of making up or being friends with them because there's just certain things you can't take back. And I feel like they said all they had to say to me. So yeah, I definitely appreciate the nice gestures, but I'm cool at a distance. Like I said before, in our real lives, we would have never been around each other or in the same facilities for that matter. So I'm cool on that. So now, to answer some of y'all's questions that I probably didn't answer during the thing. Was it hard to be in the house with cameras all the time? That was probably the hardest thing on me. You know, I felt like I had no privacy. The cameras always came running either when I was mad or when I was crying, and I had a lot of breakdowns because I was miserable there. It was the best and the worst experience for me. You know, I was going through a lot of changes. I had no phone, no TV, no music, no nothing, none of the extracurricular activities I was doing when I was home to keep me grounded. So I was already not put together. I wasn't very emotionally stable beforehand. And the show kind of pushed me to the edge and grounded me at the same time. I was miserable, you know, and I had intimate relationships before I left, and I couldn't think of one of them that I wanted to call and express myself to. So then I had to deal with that fact, like, you know, look what you've done with yourself. You are dealing with people that you don't care about, you don't love, you don't feel anything real towards, but you're dealing with them. I was just basically looking at myself from the outside, and I was looking at the mess that I made at home. So I wasn't really present in the show a lot of the times because I was trying to figure out, would I fix the mess that I had made with my personal life and my home life? And I just had to sit and think about all of that stuff while I was gone. And honestly, once I walked out that door, I was a completely different person. I left that girl right there on that show. You know, I am not perfect, so I've definitely been in altercations since I've been home, but not as many. And not for just stupid reasons. When I got home, I didn't drink or party as much. I really did change my lifestyle. I did a 360. So the show helps me just as much as it broke me down, but that's pretty much how you have to get your life together. Sometimes you gotta completely take it apart and then piece it back together. If you had a chance to go back and do everything over with different girls, would you? Yeah, I honestly felt like I was on the wrong season. That was another thing. I really didn't get to show my personality. You know, according to everybody, I was born. I'm not a boring person. I'm a very fun person, very loving person. I'm not just angry and quiet and then quiet. Those are not my two personalities. But I wasn't around people where I felt like I could be myself. I didn't feel like myself because I was going through a lot of things, a lot of changes mentally. Are you and Kiera still cool? Yeah, we're still friends. You guys always ask me that. Some of y'all questions have nothing to do with the show. It was hard fighting Kiki. I'll give that to her. It was, matter of fact, it wasn't hard. Afterwards, the after effects was hard. My back was hurting. Like, it took a toll on my body fighting that girl. Most of the things that happened on the show were real. Nothing was really staged. The producers didn't stage much. They would ask you to do stuff to spice it up, but I wasn't doing it. You know, I'm sure the girls did a lot of the things they did because the producers told them to. Would I be cool with Shay again? Absolutely not. She's reached out a couple times too. And I just feel like once you're my friend and you cross me, you pretty much know why I am the way I am. She was very, she knew a lot of my personality and why my personality was what it was. So for you to go and do what you did, it pretty much had me done with her. I was 23 when I did the show. 22? I think I was 22. I was 22. I don't think I got, someone asked that I think I got a bad edit. I don't think I got a bad edit, but I will say that production, I could tell, was irritated with me once I saw the editing, because they did used to tell me, like, you're not being who you were when we met you. They would say that to me a lot, like, open up, but you have no idea what you're signing up for until you walk into that house and you're there and there's no turning back. So yeah, I did shut down a lot, and I think because I shut down, they got really irritated with me, so they gave me the shadow narrative, which wasn't the case, because like I said, me and Key butt heads a few times about, you know, the things that she did, but I can't control what they show and what they don't show, and oh well. On a scale from 1 to 10, how bad was my experience? I would probably say my experience was just basically mental. It was a mental issue for me. And, you know, I was there and I was fighting, and I was there, but I wasn't present. I was really fighting, going through my own things and fighting with my own demons, because I've never been by myself like that. I've never, you know, if I get sad, I'll go party, or, you know, I had different outlets, and I didn't have those outlets, and I realized it was hard realizing that those outlets were just outlets and nothing more. You know, I didn't care for the people I was surrounding myself with or being with. It was a difficult experience. It's like, man, you really have been wasting your life on outlets. Nothing more than outlets. Some more questions. Let me see. You guys asked a lot of questions. How did BGC inspire you to better yourself when you left the house? That just basically is a piggyback off my last question. You know, I really was left alone to think about the decisions that I've made and who I wanted to be. And once I saw myself on the show, because my family always used to tell me, like, your anger is horrible, we don't want anything to do with you when you get like that. But to see yourself like that is a whole different thing. I hate watching the show. I don't like watching any part of it. It makes me really sad to see myself like that. Like, I'm completely different now. I don't get angry. I don't think I've had like an anger episode in a very long time. I'm gonna do one last question, and this video has become an hour long, so I think we should wrap it up. It's really just the same questions, but overall, I think my season was a decent season. I think it could have been better, but, you know, what's done is done. There's nothing we can take back. I know some people felt like I was this and I was that, and people are entitled to their opinions, but you don't know me. None of the girls that I live with know me, so it doesn't make me any never mind what people thought or think of me from the show. I know I'm not that person anymore. And yeah, I'm just never gonna talk about BGC again, because I want to forget about it. I want to forget about that girl that I was. I was just a sad girl. I just think that's a point in my life that doesn't exist anymore. I'm getting ready to be a mom now, so I'm on to my next chapter. But I'm excited to share it with you guys, so keep watching, keep subscribing, keep liking, and keep commenting so I can keep the videos coming.